It's the Weekly Buzz. I'm Eric Haltman.
Hey, and I'm Dan Gershenson.
Dan, this has been a big week for the city of Chicago. I see you're wearing yellow there. Any particular
Yeah,
reason?
yeah, I wanted to wear my yellow, um, because I supported really a cool team, Jackie Robinson West, our Little League World, not our U.S. champions. U.S. champions.
Exactly.
Best.
So awesome for the city of Chicago, and they did an amazing job. And man, if you and I could be as cool as they were on TV all the time. So I didn't get one of the T-shirts. Did you get one of the T-shirts?
They're hard to get. They're a hot commodity. They're selling out. But I think it was pretty cool because they actually, if anybody saw any pictures or video of their parade and return to the city, and they had a little celebration at Millennium Park, and a lot of people turned out for that. I mean, a lot of people.
For
And
sure, for sure.
it makes you feel proud to call yourself a Chicagoan when you can have that kind of turnout for a little league team. It's just really cool, and not a lot of towns can do that. Not a lot of towns show that kind of support. So, I've heard my share of things about Chicago, and some are true and some are not. And this is a great story, and there are still a lot of great stories about our town that can be told.
Absolutely. I didn't get a sweat or a shirt either, so I'm just gonna put on the closest thing I have.
Yep. I could.
I'm also ready for like a really big rainstorm.
We've had our share of rain.
Or if I do this, I'm the the fish.
Gordon Fisherman?
Yeah, the angry fisherman. That was my picture for a long time at Costco, actually. Bing, bing! Our show is being sponsored by Costco today. It's not. So, Dan, some interesting news with Pinterest this week.
Yeah.
Why don't you share with our viewers what happened with them and what the big thing is related to business?
Actually, yeah, with Pinterest and Twitter, overall, we're seeing a little bit more opening up of analytics, which is really kind of cool because, we don't always know what is the reason why things are happening the way they're happening. We're just kind of glad to see things go up and not down. So sometimes it's not, we don't always know why. So Pinterest is allowing us to have a little bit better view of those analytics, as is Twitter. And that's always a good thing because strategically it can kind of help us make better decisions about whether or not we are doing good on Twitter, or if things like need to be slightly tweaked as a result. So you may remember for a long time that controversial tool we bring up from time to time called Clout.
What? Clout? Oh.
Yeah.
My Clout score recently. I probably should.
and a lot of people get obsessed with it, and I'm not going to say one way or another whether I like it or don't like it. But more importantly, one of the better things they ever did that I thought was very, very good was at least explaining why a Clout score went up or why it went down, and they're getting better at least showing, like, okay, you posted this, and as a result, you got this score yesterday. And I think frankly, every social media tool should make a better effort to help us understand that. I think we're always trying to get smarter about the posts that resonate with people and the ones that are okay. And it's not always an exact science. And so the better they can steer us in the right direction with analytics, that's a really good thing. And then the other thing that I just wanted to mention, which is really cool, is that SlideShare, which is really one of the most underrated social media tools out there. It's not for everybody necessarily if you don't do a lot of presentations or things like that, but head over to SlideShare when you get a chance and take a look at how they have now opened the gate for the pro version of SlideShare to be available for free, which is really kind of cool. It wasn't terribly expensive before, but now that they're opening that up a little bit more to people, you know, for a lot of folks, it can be a very good thing. I have a number of different SlideShares up, and it's just funny how those things can get some visibility, and it's really cool. So,
why do you think they opened it up? Why do you think they opened it up to everybody? The pro.
Well, they were acquired by LinkedIn, and I think it was a little bit of not so much SlideShare's call as much as LinkedIn, and said, let's get a little bit more people using this tool. And
let's give them a taste.
Yeah, I mean they right
like a social media drug dealer.
Yeah, well, I mean it's even beyond that usual model we see where it's like, okay, use this for free for 30 days and then we're going to charge you. It's not really that way as far as I can tell. I think it's just, okay, here's all these features, and if you were paying for it before, it's now free. So it's really a neat thing for a lot more people to check out, and I still see some people who don't use SlideShare perhaps as much as they should. So check that out.
So that's cool. You know, there's so much out there, and it's hard to keep track of. And one event that's coming up that you and I are kind of funny about is you know, and it's been around for a few years, is Social Media Week. And Social Media Week takes place in 25 different cities. There's 2,500 plus events. Most, if not all, I think, of the events are free in the various cities. And Chicago is definitely a host city and has been for the last few years. But it seems like you and I always kind of get to this week before that going, yikes, maybe we should sign up for some of that stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you go and you know hear a lot of the things that you feel like you already know maybe, and you may run into that, I suppose, especially if you're in the business like we are. But I still find that it has a lot of things where even if 90% of one particular session is some things that I've heard before, it's that one thing that you're just like, oh man, that I didn't know. So that makes it all worthwhile right there, and it's time well spent. So it's a good time, and there's always something that even the experts in our field can learn. So I strongly encourage people to check out Social Media Week.
Yeah, and I forget who the sponsor was last year, but I know that there was one that they had a beer sponsor, which you partook in.
Yeah. Yes.
It's September 22nd through the 26th. If our viewers want to check it out, they can go to www.socialmediaweek.org. Make sure it's .org. Socialmediaweek.org. You can also find people talking about it on Twitter with the hashtag SMW Chicago. So check that out. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it really kind of depends on your level of expertise, but there's usually something for everyone, or somebody that you've been following on whatever their blog or whatever. Dan and I have met a number of people. So
we have. By the way, I just thought of it. As long as we're plugging something around that time, I might as well do a shameless plug of my own for my starting next month in later September. I'm going to be rolling out a downtown networking lunch. It'll be September 23rd, 11:30 to 1 at South Branch Tavern and Grill. So you can go to acanetwork.org, I believe, and you'll find. I thought it was .com, but I think it's .org, and it's a really great thing. We're going to keep it pretty intimate, probably no more than say 22 people. And some good.
Sign up now.
And yours truly is going to be speaking about how to be a bigger revolution of influence for your brand, your website, and your social media. So be sure to go to acanetwork.org and register.
And for every one of you that shows up, it's not a free lunch, but every one of you that shows up, Dan's going to give you a hug.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, Dan, one last thing that oh, go ahead. Sorry, were you?
I give those out all the time.
Oh, I know. And you know, he's talking about cool stuff too. So. Instagram came out with kind of a cool thing. Have you seen hyperlapse?
I have not.
So hyperlapse is the idea that you shoot a video and it's sort of compressing the video. You can speed it up, slow it down, speed it up, slow it down, and I think you can go up to 12 times faster. But I've watched a few of these things. If you're interested in it, if you search hyperlapse, you'll come up with some videos that you can watch. So I think there will be some applications for it. I haven't actually played around with it much, but you know, anyway, I just thought it was kind of a cool thing to mention. Instagram was always trying to, you know, well, everybody's trying to come up with, you know, make their products better and exciting so people stay interested.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing with the Weekly Buzz, I think.
You know, there's another, speaking of making products better, people are always thinking about, there's a storage wars going on. You've heard of the show Storage Wars, probably, but there's a storage war going on between Google Drive and Dropbox, which is kind of seems like a race to the bottom for who will be the cheapest to offer the most storage. So for a long time, I think Google Drive was offering something like 1 terabyte of cloud storage for $10, if I'm not mistaken. So Dropbox came out and said, well, guess what? We're doing that too. So in the last week, you can now, if you are a Dropbox user, you do not have to switch away from it for more storage. For just $10 a month, 1 terabyte of storage can be yours, which is great because I personally enjoy Dropbox. For whatever reason, I just think it's more aesthetically pleasing than Google Drive, but that's just me.
See, I'm glad you clarified that because I thought that the whole Dropbox thing was, and this is a really inexpensive solution. You go to the local grocer, you pick up a corrugated box, you set your computer in it, boom, you got as much storage as you need.
Yeah, that's totally not it, but good idea.
It's a Friday. It's a Friday before a long weekend, and for those of you that do labor, we want to wish you a happy Labor Day.
Yes.
You don't just take the day off anyway.
Yes. Well, there's plenty of time for people to think about labor.
Exactly. A labor of love is what this show is. Anyway, so we want to thank you again for joining us, share us, talk about us. We're always happy to have you come up on the street and say, hey, that Weekly Buzz is pretty cool. I know Dan does that all the time. The paparazzi, you can't keep them off him.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I see him like hiding in the bushes right now. So.
And I can't wait to go watch this particular episode because for some reason, and I don't know what's going on the internet, maybe you've noticed this, Dan, it's flipping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So maybe I'm just heavy breathing.
Yeah.
And the mic is picking it up. But we will see you next week on the Weekly Buzz, where, Dan, I am going to be doing a new feature called the Weekly Buzz Rant.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
You remember when Walter Jacobson and Bill Curtis used to do that, and Walter would be all irate and stuff?
Oh, yeah. Nobody would...
It could be nothing like that. So for the Weekly Buzz, I'm Eric Haltman.
And I'm Dan Gershenson.
And we hope you have a great weekend, happy Labor Day, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.